Hello guys, Assalamu alaikum. Hope all of you are doing great. My name is Anis Fatma and today we are going to study about a very important topic in the surgery which is known as urethra and the penis. In this topic, we are going to deal with all the surgical pathologies and the treatment related to the urethra and the penis, and this will include everything you need to know to clear your final year exams. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. So first thing first, what's urethra? So urethra is basically a fibromuscular tubular structure that will serve as a terminal portion of the urinary tract. It basically conducts your urine from the urinary bladder to the external environment during the maturation process. And the given diagram shows the two types of urethra, the male and the female urethra, which we will study in detail in the next few slides. So if you look at the male urethra, its length is around 18 to 20 centimeter in size. It's longer. It passes through the prostate gland, the urogenital diaphragm, and then through the penis to finally the external environment. And it is divided into three major portions. One is known as the prostatic urethra, which is within the prostate gland. Then we have membranous urethra that is within the urogenital diaphragm. And then we have the spongy or the penile urethra, which is within the corpus spongiosum. And the given diagram shows that the first part is known as the prostatic urethra. Then we have the very short region of the membranous urethra and a very long portion of the spongy or the penile urethra. The next slide shows the female urethra, which is 4 centimeter in length. It is definitely shorter as compared to the male urethra. It passes through almost straight from the bladder neck to the external urethral orifice, and its location is basically anterior to the vaginal opening and is posterior to the clitoris. The diagram clearly demonstrates the location of the urethra. After dealing with the basic anatomy of the urethra, let's move towards the basic surgical pathologies. So we have the posterior urethral valve. So the posterior urethral valves are basically the folds of urothelium that cause the obstruction of the urethra in boys. It is the most common cause of the bladder outflow obstruction in the younger boys, and it must be detected and treated as early as possible to avoid the development of the renal failure. So what are some of the common features of it? The common features include the antenatal ultrasound diagnosis is possible in cases of these, and it shows the urinary tract dilation in early cases. It can present with the urinary tract infection in the neonatal period as well. And they're basically the flap valves, and so although the urine does not flow normally, a urethral catheter can be passed without difficulty. The voiding cystogram, which is the investigation of choice as well, will show the hypertrophied bladder, often with the diverticula, and typically there is a vesico-urethral reflex into the dilated upper tracts of the urinary tract. There are several different options available for the posterior urethral valve. Some of them include the suprapubic catheter to relieve the back pressure, but the definitive treatment is transurethral resection of the valves to relieve the obstruction. The next condition is known as the hypospadiasis. It is a condition in which the external urethral meatus lies on the ventral or the underside surface of the penis. Its incidence, it occurs in around 1 among 200 or 300 boys, and it is the most common congenital malformation of the urethra. It is classified into several different types depending on the position of the meatus. Some of them include the glandular, coronal, penile or penoscrotal, or the perineal. The glandular one is the most common, but it doesn't require any treatment, while coronal, in which the meatus is at the junction of the underside of the glans and the body. While in cases of the penile or the penscrotal, the meatus is on the underside of the shaft. And in cases of the perineal, it's the most severe abnormality. The scrotum is bifid and urethra opens between the two halves. The several different surgical options which are available for the treatment are done between 9 to 18 months, and it varies according to the classification of the deformity. The several different options are meatal advancement and granuloplasty, which is known as MAGPI. Then we have Mathew-Flap treatment of the hypospadiasis. It is usually used for the coronal hypospadiasis. And then we have the pedicle grafts, tubes or patches for the more proximal deformities. One thing we have to keep in mind is we have to avoid the circumcision in patients with hypospadiasis, as the prepuce, the skin at the foreskin, may be used in the procedures to correct the hypospadiasis. Now we are done with the congenital abnormalities of the surgical pathologies of the urethra. Let's move towards the injuries that could also result in the surgical pathologies of the urethra. So first thing we have in list is rupture of the bulbar urethra. It basically occurs when a person fall on a projecting object and there is a blow to the perineum. And after the injury, the patient tries to pass the urine and there is extravasation of the urine, the subcutaneous extravasation of the urine. It means that the rupture is complete and you would need the suprapubic catheter in those patients to relieve the extravasation. And if the patient attempts to pass the urine after the injury and there is no subcutaneous extravasation of the urine, it means that the rupture is partial and the catheter is not needed. So what does that mean? It means कि जब इंजरी हो जाती है उसके बाद if the patient tries to pass the urine और वहाँ पे जो आपके पास suprapubic skin होती है, if there is accumulation of the urine in those tissues or if there is accumulation of the urine in the penile part, it means कि आपके पास जो rupture है वो complete हो चुका है, the urethra has been discontinued और उसका pathway पूरा का पूरा destroy हो चुका है and that's why it's leaking out into the tissues. लेकिन अगर आपके पास इनकम्प्लीट रप्चर हुआ होगा, यानी कि वन साइड ऑफ द यूरेथ्रा इज डैमेज, द अदर साइड इज कंप्लीट, द पाथवे इज स्टिल इंटैक्ट, तो द यूरिन वुड बी सम ऑफ द यूरिन वुड बी passed through the urethra to the outer environment and some of the urine would extravasate. So in those cases you won't need the suprapubic catheter to relieve it as the pathway is still intact and the person can still pass the urine. Then we have some of the clinical features of the rupture of the bulbar urethra. The clinical features would obviously include the urinary retention in the bladder. It could also include the perineal hematoma as a result of the injury to the perineum, and it could be bleeding from the external urinary meatus. अगर pathway में से कोई blood vessel leak हो रही है तो there would be the bleeding from the external urinary meatus. And in DRE you will see high riding prostate because वहाँ पे hematoma accumulate हो गया होगा, blood accumulate हो गया होगा, urine accumulate हो गया होगा, तो prostate would be pushed higher. So let's move towards the management of the rupture of the bulbar urethra. So we have to first of all manage the pain by giving the analgesic drugs. Then we also studied about clinical features. There could be the urinary tract infection because of the blood accumulation and urine accumulation in the in the subcutaneous tissues. So we will give prophylactic antibiotics in that case. And then we have to discourage the patient from passing the urine because the urinary tract is not intact anymore, and the urine could extravasate into the subcutaneous tissues. So you have to discourage the patient from passing the urine. And how we will be discouraged? We will place the suprapubic catheter subcutaneously to drain out the full bladder. Now you have to avoid the perurethral catheterization because it might convert the partial tear into the complete transaction. The best initial test in order to find out where the pathology or the injury actually lies is to do the ascending urethrogram or the flexible cystoscopy. Now the surgical treatments, there are two options. One is excision of the traumatized section and then speculated end-to-end re-anastomosis of the urethra. यानी कि जहाँ से डैमेज हुआ है यूरेथ्रा उसको वहाँ से आप जो है वो क्या कर देंगे, एक्साइज कर देंगे and then you will connect the remaining ends together. But this could reduce the length of the urethra and could lead to the urethral stricture formation. That's the major complication here. It can also lead to the subcutaneous extravasation of the urine because जो sutures होते हैं they might get broken और इसके अलावा वहाँ पे जो urethra है वो shorter in length हो जाएगा, तो it could also lead to the extravasation of the urine. Now we are moving towards our next topic, which is known as the rupture of the membranous urethra. So intrapelvic rupture, where does the membranous urethra lies? It lies above the bulbar urethra. It lies in the pelvis. It lies in the urogenital diaphragm. So it is basically the intrapelvic rupture. And it occurs near the apex of the prostate. Like सबसे पहले हमारे पास prostate urethra होता है, then we have the membranous urethra and then we have the bulbar urethra. तो जहाँ पे prostate end होके membranous urethra just start हो रहा होता है वहाँ से rupture हो सकता है and it could lead to the injury. It may be caused by the penetrating wounds, but it is most usually a result of the pelvic fracture. तो सबसे most common cause क्या हो जाएगा membranous urethra के rupture होने का? That would be the pelvic fracture. और सबसे ज़्यादा common cause bulbar urethra के damage होने का क्या था? That was falling on the projecting object. Then, what are the clinical features of the rupture of the membranous urethra? So, the most common cause of pelvic fracture are road traffic accidents, severe crush injuries, and the falls. अगर आपके पास question आ जाए कि what's the most common cause of the rupture of the membranous urethra? So, their pelvic fracture. Now, if the pelvic fracture is not in the given option, so the option could also be the road traffic accident. The option could also be the crush injuries, right? Then a suprapubic catheter should be inserted as soon as possible because the injury is higher up. And there may be associated with the injury to the bladder as well because it's quite near to the bladder. Then intraperitoneal bladder rupture is associated with the onset of the peritonitis because अगर urine extravasate करके pelvis में जा रहा है, it could result जो urinary जो organisms होते हैं urine में or urinary tract में, they could irritate the peritoneum and they can cause the peritonitis. फिर एक्स्ट्रा पेरिटोनियल ब्लैडर रप्चर अगर इंट्रा पेरिटोनियल हो रहा है तो पेरिटोनाइटिस कॉज करवाएगा. अगर एक्स्ट्रा पेरिटोनियल मेम्ब्रेनस यूरेथ्रा रप्चर हो रहा है, it can cause pain, it cause bruising, it cause dullness to percussion above the umbilicus. क्यों? क्योंकि वहाँ पे पूरा urine accumulate हो जाएगा. There would be a liquid in there and that could cause dullness to the percussion. Then extraperitoneal bladder rupture causes symptoms that are difficult to distinguish from those of the rupture of the membranous urethra. सो अगर आपके पास ब्लैडर रप्चर हो रहा है या फिर आपके पास यूरेथ्रा रप्चर हो रहा है, उन दोनों के सिम्टम्स सेम नज़र आ रहे होंगे इन केसेस ऑफ द एक्स्ट्रा पेरिटोनियल ब्लैडर रप्चर. देन वी हैव द डायग्नोसिस कैसे बनाएंगे? प्लेन रेडियोग्राफ करवाएंगे. उसमें आप देखेंगे कि देयर वुड बी द यूरेथ्रल डिस्रप्शन if there is significant displacement of the pubic bones. अगर pubic bones क्योंकि fracture सबसे most common cause है ना, तो जब जैसे हम रेडियोग्राफ करवाएंगे there would be the disruption of the urinary tract, there would be the displacement of the pelvic bones. तो this would be more clear on the plain radiograph. सही है. लेकिन वहाँ पे हम क्या करवा रहे थे बल्बर वाले में? we were doing ascending urethrogram और flexible cystoscopy. ओके, सो यहाँ पे भी हम असेंडिंग यूरेथ्रोग्राम करवा सकते हैं बट विद वाटर बेस्ड कंट्रास्ट. देन ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शंस पे आ जाते हैं. डेफिनेट ट्रीटमेंट कैन यूजुअली बी डेफर्ड इफ सुप्राप्यूबिक कैथेटर इज इन प्लेस. तो आपने सुप्राप्यूबिक कैथेटर इंसर्ट कर दिया, आपने ब्लैडर को ड्रेन आउट कर लिया है, अब आप अपनी डेफिनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट की तरफ जा सकते हैं. सही है. Exploration is needed if there is evidence of rupture of the bladder, especially if it is intraperitoneal. अगर आपको लग रहा है कि यूरेथ्रा के साथ साथ ब्लैडर भी इंजरी हो गई है, तो you have to do the exploration and then we will move towards the treatment. सही है. इसकी भी ट्रीटमेंट वैसे ही होती है. यू नीड टू एक्साइज द पार्ट एंड देन यू वुड रिपेयर इट. एंड देन वी हैव कॉम्प्लिकेशंस. यूरेथ्रल स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म हो सकता है, यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस हो सकती है बिकॉज अगर स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म हो जाएगा तो इट कुड लीड टू द यूरिनरी रिटेंशन एंड यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस. इंपॉर्टेंस हो सकती है बिकॉज वाइल यू वर रिपेयरिंग you might injure some of the important parts. And then we have orthopedic complications of the fractured pelvis can also occur side by side with the rupture of the membranous urethra. So that's it. एंड देन वी हैव द यूरेथ्रल स्ट्रक्चर. तो यूरेथ्रल स्ट्रक्चर बेसिकली क्या होती है? आपके यूरिनरी ट्रैक में स्कारिंग हो गई है, नैरोइंग हो गई है, जिसकी वजह से यूरिनरी रिटेंशन हो रही है, यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस हो रही है. सही है. अब इसके सेवरल कॉजेज हो सकते हैं. अब स्कारिंग किस वजह से स्कारिंग हो रही है, नैरोइंग हो रही है, वो किस वजह से हो रही होगी? बिकॉज ऑफ द रिकरेंट इन्फेक्शंस और बिकॉज ऑफ द इंजरी और बिकॉज ऑफ सम मैनिपुलेशन इन देयर, राइट. सो कॉजेज क्या हो सकते हैं? पोस्ट गोनोरियल इन्फेक्शन की वजह से बिकॉज इट इनवॉल्व्स द बल्बर यूरेथ्रा. तो अगर बल्बर यूरेथ्रा में स्ट्रक्चर्स फॉर्म हो रहे हैं तो द कॉज वुड मोस्ट प्रोबेबली बी द गोनोरियल इन्फेक्शन, राइट. देन कंजेनाइटल प्रॉब्लम भी हो सकता है, आफ्टर ट्रॉमा आफ्टर इंजरी भी हो सकता है. देन इफ यू हैव मैनिपुलेटेड इन देयर विद सम काइंड ऑफ द इंस्ट्रूमेंट तो उसकी वजह से भी हो सकता है, लाइक इन ड्वेलिंग कैथेटर की वजह से या यूरेथ्रल सिस्टोस्कोपी करने की वजह से और एंडोस्कोपी करने की वजह से भी हो सकता है. It could also result as a result of the post-operative period. So अगर आपने open prostatectomy perform की थी which involves the prostatic urethra or the amputation of the penis के बाद भी हो सकता है. Then we have some of the complications. Then let's move towards the complications. The complication would obviously be क्या होगा? स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म हो गया है, नैरोइंग हो गई है, स्कारिंग हो गई है, तो फिर क्या हो जाएगा? रिटेंशन हो जाएगी यूरिन की. यूरेथ्रल डाइवर्टिकुलम भी फॉर्म हो सकता है बिकॉज द प्रेशर इज डेवलपिंग, तो वो वहाँ पे कोई ना कोई और ओपनिंग बना के यूरेथ्रल डाइवर्टिकुलम फॉर्म कर सकता है। पेरी यूरेथ्रल एब्सेस हो सकती है बिकॉज ऑफ द चांसेस ऑफ द इन्फेक्शन, तो अगर इन्फेक्शन होगा अनट्रीटेड रहेगा इट कुड लीड टू द एब्सेस फॉर्मेशन। यूरेथ्रल फिस्ट्यूला फॉर्म हो सकता है, अगेन वही यूरेथ्रल डाइवर्टिकुलम वाली बात आ जाती है। और इट कुड ऑल्सो लीड टू दी हर्निया, हेमरॉइड्स एंड द रेक्टल प्रोलैप्स फ्रॉम स्ट्रेनिंग टू वॉइड द यूरिन। अब स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म हुआ है, नैरोइंग हुई है, स्कारिंग हुई है, द पर्सन इज अनएबल टू पास द यूरिन इज गेटिंग रिटेंशन, द यूरिन इज रिटेनिंग इनसाइड द ब्लैडर। तो उसकी वजह से क्या होगा, द पर्सन वुड हैव द अर्ज टू यूरिनेट बट ही वोंट बी एबल टू पास द यूरिन। एज अ रिजल्ट ही विल स्टार्ट स्ट्रेनिंग। अब जब वो स्ट्रेन करेंगे तो स्ट्रेन की वजह से अगर कोई एनाटमिकल वीकनेस है उसकी वजह से हर्निया हो सकता है। स्ट्रेनिंग करने की एक्सेसिव स्ट्रेनिंग करने की वजह से हेमरॉइड्स एंड रेक्टल प्रोलैप्स हो सकते हैं। सो दीज आर सम ऑफ द कॉम्प्लिकेशंस ऑफ द यूरिथ्रल स्ट्रक्चर। एंड देन वी हैव द ट्रीटमेंट। ट्रीटमेंट कैसे करेंगे आप? ट्रीटमेंट करेंगे डायलिटेशन से कर सकते हैं, एंडोस्कोपिक यूरिथ्रोप्लास्टी से कर सकते हैं, एंड यूरिथ्रोप्लास्टी से, ओपन यूरिथ्रोप्लास्टी से भी कर सकते हैं। सो लेट्स गेट इनटू द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट। So first thing first, dilatation. Dilatation is the older treatment of the structure because dilatation कैसे होती है, आप इंस्ट्रूमेंट इनसाइड पुट करते हो यूरिथ्रा के, then you try to dilate that part which has already been scarred, which has already been narrowed। तो उसकी वजह से क्या हो सकता है, ओल्डर ट्रीटमेंट क्यों है, क्यों हमने इसको डिसकंटिन्यू कर दिया, इस वजह से बिकॉज इट कुड लीड टू द रप्चर ऑफ द बल्बर और द मेम्ब्रेनस यूरिथ्रा, और उसकी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस वी हैव ऑलरेडी स्टडीड। It is liable to cause the additional urethral damage if it is performed inexpertly। तो इस वजह से हमने इसको, ये ओल्डर मेथड है, हम इसको अवॉइड करते हैं, बट इट इज़ वन ऑफ द ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शंस दैट इज नोन एज डायलिटेशन। देन वी हैव एंडोस्कोपिक यूरिथ्रोटोमी। एंडोस्कोपिक यूरिथ्रोटोमी में क्या होता है, इंटरनल विजुअल यूरिथ्रोटोमी causes about 50% of the simple structures. It may be supplemented by intermittent self dilatation post operatively with the improved success rate। इसमें क्या होता है, you basically put in the instrument और endoscopically आप वहाँ पे जो स्ट्रक्चर वाला पोर्शन होता है you try to excise it and then you try to replace it। And then we have the open urethroplasty. It involves excision of the stenosed urethra and re-anastomosis of the spatulated cut ends together। लेकिन ये एक open procedure है। It can lead to the further urethral structure formation or scarring as well। अगर स्ट्रक्चर शॉर्ट होता है तभी हम यूरिथ्रोप्लास्टी मोस्टली कर रहे होते हैं। द मोस्ट कॉमन ट्रीटमेंट दैट इज यूज्ड इज नोन एज एंडोस्कोपिक यूरिथ्रोटोमी। यूरिथ्रोप्लास्टी कम यूज होती है एंड डायलिटेशन को हमने कम्प्लीटली डिसकंटिन्यू कर दिया है। Then the next problem is phimosis and paraphimosis। So phimosis क्या होता है? Phimosis is simply the non-retraction of the foreskin। Now there is a meatal opening, there is an external urethral opening और उसके ऊपर foreskin होती है। If the person is unable to retract that foreskin, it is known as phimosis और उसकी वजह से urinary retention और urinary incontinence हो सकता है। सही है? The true phimosis occurs secondary to the scarring of the foreskin। अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई प्रोसीजर हुआ था जिसकी वजह से फोरस्किन की स्कारिंग हो गई है, तो वो रिट्रैक्ट नहीं हो पाएगी। इट वुड बी नैरोड, देयर वुड बी द फाइब्रस टिश्यू वहाँ पे फॉर्म हो जाएगा जिसकी वजह से वो रिट्रैक्ट नहीं होगी। The true phimosis is most commonly due to the Balanitis xerotica obliterans। So BXO, which is known as Balanitis xerotica obliterans, ये जब होता है इसकी वजह से स्कारिंग होती है, फाइब्रस टिश्यू की फॉर्मेशन होती है। एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट phimosis हो जाता है। एंड द ट्रू phimosis इज बेसिकली एन इंडिकेशन फॉर द सर्कमसिशन। फॉरन उसकी सर्कमसिशन करनी चाहिए इन ऑर्डर टू प्रिवेंट फ्रॉम द यूरिनरी रिटेंशन एंड द यूरिनरी ट्रैक्ट इन्फेक्शंस। फिर हम आ जाते हैं, अब फेमोसिस का पढ़ लिया, अब पैराफेमोसिस क्या होता है। सो पैराफेमोसिस इज अ यूरोलॉजिकल इमरजेंसी। व्हाई? बिकॉज इट इज कॉज्ड बाय द रिट्रैक्शन ऑफ द टाइट फोरस्किन। इमेजिन अ पर्सन हु वाज हैव Imagine a person जिनको phimosis था, सही है। He tried to retract the skin. The skin was fibrous, the skin was narrowed, the skin was scarred. Now he tries to retract it. अब क्या होगा, वो retract तो हो जाएगी, but it will hold in the place so tight कि it will cause वहाँ पे एडिमा कॉज करेगी, वहाँ पे ब्लड जो वीनस क्लॉगिंग हो जाएगी, वहाँ पे ब्लड सप्लाई ड्रॉप हो जाएगी. So that's why it's known as the urological emergency, and it is caused by retraction of the tight foreskin. If the foreskin is not replaced, it causes the constriction of the glands, which will lead to the swelling, which makes it more difficult to reduce. अब management क्या करेंगे? Or management aims to reduce the swelling using the ice packs and then squeezing the edematous tissue back, ताकि जितनी भी venous clogging हुई है वो backward जाती जाए, यानी कि proximally move करती जाए, ऊपर की तरफ जाती जाए. जितना हम उस स्वेलिंग को रिड्यूस कर सकेंगे उतना ही फोरस्किन को वापस अपनी ओरिजिनल पोजीशन पे लाना ईजियर होगा. दैट्स व्हाई वी यूज आइस पैक्स एंड स्क्वीजिंग टेक्निक्स. एंड देन रिडक्शन कैन आल्सो बी अटेम्प्टेड. लोकल एनेस्थीसिया देते हैं आप, लाइक पेनाइल नर्व ब्लॉक दे सकते हैं, रिंग ब्लॉक दे सकते हैं, और उसके बाद यू कैन स्क्वीज द टिश्यू आउट. ओकेजनली इट इज़ नेसेसरी टू ड्रेन द एडिमेटस फ्लूइड यूजिंग अ नीडल. अगर आप स्क्वीज आउट कर रहे हैं फिर भी स्क्वीज नहीं हो रहा, देन यू कैन ऑल्सो यूज द नीडल इन दोज केसेस. General anesthesia is sometimes required for the reduction but not always required, क्योंकि हम normally penile nerve block या फिर ring block दे देते हैं. And circumcision is recommended in all these patients to prevent the problem recurrence. वैसे भी circumcision is also important in order to avoid the phimosis, and then it is also important to avoid the paraphimosis. उसके बाद हम आ जाते हैं circumcision पे. We have been talking about circumcision in all our previous slides, so let's study about it. Circumcision is basically the excision of the foreskin. सही है. Now, what are the common indications? The common indications could be the cultural reasons, which are the most common reasons. The indications, true indications in medical terms are phimosis, paraphimosis, recurrent balanitis. क्योंकि अगर recurrent balanitis हो रहा है तो fibrous tissue form हो जाएगा, narrowing हो जाएगी, scarring हो जाएगी, and it could ultimately result into the paraphimosis, और वो urological emergency की तरफ चला जाता है. और in case the person has a penile tumor तो फिर भी circumcision करते हैं. Now, in infants, the foreskin is freed and retracted, and the Plastibell technique is used in infants. सही है. Plastibell technique is used in infants, while in adolescents, we have another technique which is known as the sleeve method. So, the Plastibell device is then slipped into the place over the glans penis as seen in the diagram as well. The foreskin is ligated over the groove of the bell and the redundant foreskin is cut away. The ring separates between 5 and 8 days post-operatively. So what happens is basically आप कट लगाते हो foreskin पे, you free it down and then you slide in the plastibell, and once the plastibell has been slided in, जो extra skin होती है उसको आप कट कर देते हो, you will suture it out, और जो फिर बाकी की skin होगी it would ultimately adjust itself proximally. In adolescents and adults, the prepuce is held in artery forceps and put on a gentle stretch. Now, in cases of the adolescents, we are using a different technique. We are not using the plastibell. तो जो prepuce या foreskin होती है, उसको आप क्या करते हो? Artery forceps से hold करते हो, and then you give it a gentle stretch on both the sides. The circumferential incision in the penile skin is made at the level of the corona using the knife, and then prepuce is then slit up the midline dorsally to within 1 centimeter of the corona. And we will use the absorbable sutures in these cases. Then let's talk about a very, very important condition next, which is known as the Peyronie's disease. So Peyronie's disease basically क्या होती है? ये basically fibrous issue की formation हो जाती है inside the tunica albuginea of the corpus cavernosum. Now you have to remember the three important things in here. One is known as fibrosis हो रही है tissues की, कहाँ पर? Tunica albuginea के अंदर. Where is tunica albuginea? It is in the corpus cavernosa. Now what's happening in here? As a result of the fibrous tissue formation, वहाँ पे tissue scarring हो जाती है. Tissue scarring होने की वजह से जो penile curvature हो जाता है. As a result of these penile curvatures, it could lead to the various sexual disorders as well. Then what are some of the most common causes? It could occur idiopathically. It could occur as a result of the past trauma or the injury that resulted in the formation of the fibrous tissue in there. It can also result with the conditions like Dupuytren contracture, जिसमें आपके body में fibrous tissue की formation ज़्यादा होती है. The treatment options for the Peyronie's disease mostly include the surgical methods because medical treatments are ineffective in these cases. The disease is typically self-limiting and surgery may be indicated to correct the deformity that interferes with the sexual dysfunction only. What operation is done in order to treat the Peyronie's disease? It's known as the Nesbit's operation. So, which operation? Nesbit's operation. It involves straightening of the penis by placing the non-exorbital sutures in the corpus cavernosum, which is opposite to the plaque. यानी कि अगर front पे plaque formation हुई है, तो you will apply the sutures on the back side. You are basically applying the sutures opposite to the plaque tissue. It reduces the elasticity in this region to balance that is caused by the plaque. It is inevitably associated with the penile shortening. तो क्या हो रहा है, जिस साइड पे प्लैक फॉर्मेशन हुई थी वहां पे जो इलास्टिसिटी थी वो रिड्यूस हुई थी, जिसकी वजह से कर्वेचर उस तरफ हो गया था. नाउ यू आर अप्लाइंग द sutures ऑन द ऑपोजिट साइड ऑफ इट टू कॉज द इंटेंशनल स्कारिंग इन फिब्रिस टिश्यू फॉर्मेशन इन देयर इन ऑर्डर टू बैलेंस आउट दैट कर्वेचर. तो पहले लेट्स सपोज पहले फ्रंट साइड पे आपके पास फ्रंट साइड पे और अपर साइड पे कर्वेचर था. नाउ यू आर आल्सो कॉजिंग द कर्वेचर ऑन द डाउन साइड. दोनों कर्वेचर्स बैलेंस हो जाएंगे एंड इट विल treat this Peyronie's disease, and this operation is known as the Nesbit's operation. Okay, so let's move towards a very important topic which is known as the priapism. So what is known as the priapism? Priapism is basically a prolonged painful erection that is not associated with the sexual desire. So basically what happens in here is normally to penile erection, okay, it is because of the accumulation of the blood within the vessels of the corpus spongiosum. But in these cases, it is a pathological erection. It is not because of the normal accumulation of blood within the cavernous spongiosum. It is because of the pathological accumulation of blood. That pathological accumulation of blood could be due to any reason like sickle cell disease, leukemia, or the injection of the papaverine, or because of the malignancy, or because of the spinal cord diseases. In cases of the sickle cell disease or leukemia, the cells are abnormal in shape, the blood is more dense as compared to the normal because of the increased number of cells, and they tend to obstruct the blood vessel. And because of that obstruction, this is happening. The blood vessels are clogged up, the blood vessels are engorged. As a result, there is a painful erection. The management options could be conservative like ice or encouragement of the ejaculation, or it could be the aspiration and irrigation with the warm saline in order to reduce the swelling, in order to reduce the engorgement of the blood vessels. And then intracavernosal medications like metaraminol could also be used. Surgical intervention can also be done, like for example आपके पास glans cavernosal shunt करवा सकते हैं, cavernosal spongiosum shunt करवा सकते हैं, cavernosal venous shunt करवा सकते हैं. And why are we shunting it? यहाँ पे हम shunting क्यों कर रहे हैं? Because abnormal engorgement of the blood vessels की वजह से जो penile erection हुई है, राइट. तो हम वहाँ पे जो एबनॉर्मल इंगॉर्जमेंट हो रही है, जो ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन हो रही है, उसको रिलीव करवाने के लिए वहाँ की ब्लड वेसल्स का जो नॉर्मल पाथ है उसको स्किप करके या फिर शंट करके किसी और मेजर ब्लड वेसल के साथ अटैच करवा देंगे. द ब्लड विल फ्लो इन इजीली, एंड एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दिस द ब्लड वेसल्स वुड नॉट बी क्लॉग्ड अप, वुड नॉट बी engorged. As a result, the problem would be resolved. And then we have some of the last topics from this chapter. One of them is penile carcinoma. So there could be the several risk factors of the penile carcinoma. There could be chronic delanophosphaitis, यानी कि बार बार वहाँ पे scarring और narrowing हो रही है, जिसकी वजह से सेल अपने आप को replace करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. As a result, the cells get abnormal and they develop into the penile carcinoma. Or it could be due to the leukoplakia of the glands, it could be long-standing genital warts, or it could be due to the Paget disease of the penis, which is known as erythroplasia. So all of those conditions which will lead into this formation of the fibrous tissue, or those which would result in the scar formation, would ultimately increase the risk of the development of the penile carcinoma. Then some of the clinical features. तो सबसे पहले तो फिनिकल फीचर ये होगा कि इट वुड पुट अ प्रेशर ऑन द यूरिथ्रा. इन एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट देयर वुड बी यूरिनरी रिटेंशन, यूरिनरी इनकॉन्टिनेंस हो जाएगी, यूरिनरी ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन हो जाएगी. इट मे बी इनफिल्ट्रेटिंग टाइप that would start as leukoplakia, or it could be papillary and result from an existing papilloma. The earliest lymphatic spread to the inguinal lymph nodes and then to the iliac lymph nodes. तो सबसे ज़्यादा commonly कहाँ पर जा रहा है? Inguinal lymph nodes में and iliac lymph nodes में जा रहा है. And then distant metastasis भी हो सकती है. 40 years of age के बाद it is mostly common, and the death of the patient may result from the erosion of the femoral and the external iliac artery, because it is infiltrating type अगर होगा तो वो it will start infiltrating the major arteries in that place, clogging them up, disrupting the blood supply, as a result causing the death. The treatment options would be the radiotherapy. It is effective for small cancers, or the circumcision, etc., or the surgery like partial or total phenyl amputation कर सकते हैं. It is used for large anaplastic growths, or radiotherapy smaller ones के लिए use होती है. Then we have some of these sexually transmitted infections like genital herpes हो सकता है, which is caused by herpes virus type 2, or it could also be caused by type 1, but occasionally, not frequently.